Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Get softer, smoother, and more even-toned skin after just one use with the new Gentle Exfoliating line from Cetaphil. Formulated with a unique triple acid blend that promotes surface skin cell renewal, these gentle chemical exfoliators remove dead skin cells and refine skin's texture while hydrating, resulting in softer, smoother, more even-looking skin. Shop the new Cetaphil Gentle Exfoliating line in the face and body aisles at your local Target store or online at Cetaphil.com.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. We're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/MBO. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello. We're cutting out. Well, actually, it wasn't recording. We just spent some time shit talking, and you guys don't worry. It's nothing exciting for you, but just imagine shit talking like technology, work equipment, or like something stupid work related.
Yeah. And then hitting record and us putting the exact same face on.
The smile being like, and we've pivoted from that conversation. So, welcome to another episode of But Am I Wrong? And we're so happy to be back with a brand new episode because we haven't had one in a while. And I've been sitting on this thing that I want to nominate for my Wrong of the Week.
Before we get into that, why don't you explain what the show is?
Thank you, Melissa. You're right. I should explain. This is But Am I Wrong? Where we two people who have not once ever been wrong talk about ourselves, possibly being wrong, other people, maybe being wrong, and then people we are for sure 100% certain are wrong. So we have 3 different segments. We will explain each of them before we dive into them as to not overwhelm you. But one of the best parts of this podcast, I think, is it is not just about our opinions. We also love to hear it from you. So we open it up for votes. So you get to vote on who you think was wrong in each segment. We host those over on our Instagram stories. And then we read the results on our Friday episode, which is called Fisting Friday. And we also will read people's thoughts and feelings. So you can write in our DMs, reply to the stories about what you think, if you have personal experience with it, what you would have done, your thoughts and whatever. And then we also read that on the same episode. And sometimes we have the people who have written in for those segments write in and give us more info, updates, details, their thoughts. And it's a grand old girl time. Should we tell them that they can watch the video version? Where could they do that, Melissa?
You can watch this on Patreon. There's a link in our show description, but go to Patreon. You can watch us for not a lot of money. I don't know how much longer we're going to keep it.
Yeah, we might be increasing the prices, y'all.
Because
so
those are pandemic prices.
Mm-hmm. Those are prices of desperation.
Mm-hmm. But if you've been rocking with us, then you're grandmothered in. So we don't need any more patriarchal things. Yeah. And you can keep the price. So act fast. Join us.
This offer expires.
Join us, and you get ad-free episodes. You get to see our faces. You also can listen to the ad-free episodes on Spotify, which is a great treat. There's a way to do it for Apple too. Someone figured it out. I think it was Charity.
Okay, I thought it was Diana.
Maybe you can share it with the group. But they don't give the instructions on Patreon how to do it. They only say it for Spotify. It's $1, $2, $5, $6. When you get into the $5 and $6 tiers, then that's when you get to join us on live stream twice a month. We've got one in 50 minutes. Yep. So
And if you join the Patreon live streams, you get to the speed VIP list of joining our Facebook group. Anyone can join it, but you might be like Breed, who joined, and I just saw her profile picture, and I said, except I don't even need to read your answers because I know you, girl, my Irish sister. So think about it that way. You get to be, it's like favoritism because you actually can, in fact, buy our love and respect.
You can also buy our hate if you're into that. No, we're not going to kink shame anyone.
No.
If you want to be degraded.
Oh my God, I would love, I'm here for you.
Did you see that woman that had her sub on the subway and he was on his hands and knees.
A leash?
I don't think he had a leash, but her feet were propped up and she was just talking mad shit to him. And everybody was like, get your bag, girl.
I love that. That's where men belong.
Mm-hmm.
On the dirty streets of the subway,
right.
On their hands and knees, begging for forgiveness and mercy. That's how I like my men, begging for mercy.
All right, let's get into our first segment, which is called But Am I Wrong? And that's when we nominate something from our personal lives that we may be wrong about, and we want to bring it to the table. It also might be a rant or just thoughts and feelings that we have, and we want to discuss it.
What do you have for us?
What I have for the room is stop disrespecting Angel Reese. And
I'll go to bat for that.
I will fight someone for this.
No, me too.
So Angel Reese is, in case you don't know, I don't know, maybe not
You've awoken
in the
from
USA.
your coma. Like, yeah. I'm so happy you're finally back here.
I don't know if the WNBA is big across seas, but in case you don't know, Angel Reese is a phenomenal rookie basketball player for the Chicago Sky. Her nickname now is Chi-Town Barbie. She's formerly known as the BAIW Barbie because she went to LSU, Louisiana State University. And that is where her national disrespect started. So the number one pick in the WNBA draft this year was Caitlin Clark. And according to Google, her popularity spiked in April of 2023. And that was during the NCAA championship game. Angel approached Caitlin and did the John Cena, you can't see me hand sign, and then pointed to her ring finger, basically saying you're not getting this championship ring this year.
Typical sports, dirty smack talk.
Yeah, I'm getting into that. Yeah. And people were outraged that Angel would do such a thing, even though Caitlin does it all the time. Like, it was kind of her thing that she does. And also most people in sports smack talk, like that's part of the game. But the difference was,
poor Caitlin Clark, 6 foot tall white girl. She's so fragile.
Megan, let me get to
sorry. I'm so passionate.
The difference was, not only did Angel's team LSU win that championship, but Angel is also a Black woman. So people, and I'm not even going to say it's mostly white. I'm not even going to say it's white people. There's a lot of Black men out there also being disrespectful. So even though, like I said, most professional athletes, including women, talk shit on the court, people have even said that Caitlin Clark, most people that play against her, says that she talks the most shit out of anyone. Angel, because she has been painted as the bad guy, she has taken full ownership of her villain role on the court. She said that negative things have been said about her. She said that she'll take it because look at where women's basketball is now. The viewership is the highest it's been. Ticket sales are skyrocketing. They're selling out the stadiums. There's celebrities at the game. She said she'll look back in 20 years and people will be like, no, it wasn't just because of one person, and it was also because of her. And what makes me sick are the men that are out here flapping their gums or use their little Twitter fingers to talk shit about her. These male sports commentators, pieces of shit that keep just like talking down on Angel. After the championship this year in April, LSU lost. And Angel said, I've been through so much. I've seen so much. I've been attacked so many times, death threats. I've been sexualized. I've been threatened. I've been so many things, and I stood strong every single time. So I'm especially disgusted by Emmanuel Acho, who likes to position himself as a palpable Black man to white audiences anyway. He said, Black women have historically been the most marginalized group in America, but I'm going to give a gender neutral and racially indifferent take on Angel Reese. In sports, you can't act like the big bad wolf and then cry like Courage the Cowardly Dog, which shut the fuck up. Shut up. And then there's also the fact that a lot of racist things are being said about Angel Reese. And before they recently, within the last week or two, took away likes being public on Twitter, you could see that Caitlyn's boyfriend and brother were liking these racist tweets. Also, Caitlyn, until she was pressured into saying something, never said anything. And what she finally did say didn't even explicitly talk about racism. And her lackluster statement just makes me think a few things. And I'm not here to pit women against women, but when you seemingly take a certain stance, then it is what it is. Angel Reese, you're amazing. She's also the front runner for Rookie of the Year right now, and they'll never make me hate you.
Not once ever. Angel Reese, unfortunately, girl, I could tell you, you could actually do some arbitrarily horrible things, and I would have no choice but to support you regardless. Like,
probably on the right side of history.
Exactly. She knows something I don't. And I could actually take a moment to learn from her, from this actions that she did. So let's hear her out. I feel this so wholeheartedly. Nothing makes me more irate than, again, Caitlin Clark has been regarded as and there's nothing wrong with this, as the biggest shit talker in the fucking sport right now. Like, biggest one. And so then to kind of have that be like, oh no, please don't. She's such a poor and fragile, frail, innocent, tiny little 6 foot something powerhouse athlete. She's but just a girl. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's so fucking annoying. And I also, I think like you're in college, you're playing against each other, shit talk each other, like all you fucking want. There is a line that is crossed, specifically even once you get into the WNBA and you're playing in the big leagues. Your rookie, you might not be on the same team, but like your team is hazing you. Your rookies and those are the people you're going to be playing with for the longest period of time. You're coming up in the same essential like freshman fucking class. And then to like not say anything, it reminds me there was an athlete in the one of the gymnasts for the US team whose boyfriend was liking shitty and nasty racist things about like Simone Biles and I think Jordan too, like bitches like just like, and then also just talking mad shit. And it's like, collect your man. Like that's so fucking mortifying and so embarrassing and bad. And then it also, I feel like it emboldens other people to treat like shit. Like I find that like even other players, and I know, you play dirty on teams or whatever, but like some of how the other players have been treating Angel Reese and like how they've been blocking her and have been defending her is like to a different level than anyone else. I saw another player who literally checked her with her arm in the neck, knocking off her windpipe. And it's just like, when you make it okay to collectively hate someone, that makes it okay for other people to feel like they can be even more horrible and nasty. I hate it. And also, she's the fashion girl of the WNBA, and now the WNBA is like bringing fashion.
Not just the fashion girl, but she announced that she was going pro in Vogue. Like who does that?
It's crazy to me that like, as opposed to looking at like, holy shit, we are like so blessed with like women's basketball right now. Instead of doing that, of being like, oh my God, every left, right, and center, we've got Steph Curry's goddaughter. We've got literally so many fucking people who are so good right now. Like this is the best the sport has been in this like a singular year. Like this is amazing. Instead of attributing it to all to literally one person who, by the way, she could actually not be that good. Caitlin Clark would not be regarded as good as she is if the people she was playing were not good.
Yep.
So similarly, Angel Reese, they can never make me hate you. Angel,
all right,
among us.
You're up.
So my rant / hot take is something that I've thought about in passing. And it came up again recently because I have joined the POTS subreddit, which is very helpful. People talk about like recommendations of like compression pants, like socks, like different things that work for them, all of that kind of stuff. And it is something that I've felt for a very long time. And was reignited seeing a post of someone saying, what do people do for work? I'm having like a very hard time standing up. And reading it, realized that only the people who are able to maintain jobs there, it's because they worked from home. And I would like to say, whoever invented chairs, I love you. You invented chairs for a reason. We need to bring more chairs into the workforce. We have people who sit at cubicles all day who they're like, oh my God, I need to stretch my legs. I cannot stop sitting. But you work at a grocery store, you work at Starbucks. The fact that at most grocery stores, you have to stand the whole goddamn fucking time just to what? You can sit. Stop this idea that we tie productivity to someone standing on their hind legs is atrocious. Sit down, take a load off, absolutely chill. The way that if I walk into like a retail store and I see someone like sitting and they work there and they go, hey, and they don't walk up to me, I go, good, value your time, your energy, and your body. I don't need you to walk to me. I don't need any of that. I find it absolutely offensive and atrocious, like not even just from like a disability standpoint, but so fucking useless. And like, who's behind the lack of chairs? Because I think the podiatrists of the world, we could come together with IKEA, anyone who is making chairs, and we need a chair renaissance. Maybe we start walking around with a little folding chair. People have their little a little bar stool. Like there's so many different forms of that, but instead we're saying, and I wonder, I have to know, is it Dr. Scholl's who is behind all of this? Just trying to sell more? I would never, because actually we love Dr. Scholl's. I would never slander you like that.
I was about to say,
Mr. Scholl, I would never. We love you so much. Somebody else, Steve Madden, is uncomfortable. Actually, no, he's pro-sitting because those heels hurt. Like, I just need to know that I know that there's something nefarious going on, and there's why don't you want us to sit? Let us sit down, because you know all those CEOs in their corner offices, you know what they're doing? They're sitting in their expensive leather desk chairs. But no, the rest of us need to be standing. Fuck it.
There is a reason, and I feel like it was, I know it was some old white man that came up with the reason, and then it might have been Henry Ford, to be honest.
Oh my God. Everything is either Ronald Reagan or Henry Ford who fucked it up for the rest of us.
If I did a deep dive, I could figure it out. I'll just blame it on Henry Ford for now, because fuck that racist, anti-Semitic piece of shit. But like, it's considered lazy in the workforce to sit down on a job when you're like customer facing.
Yeah, like it's supposed to be unprofessional. No, take a load off. I would love to see you comfortable in your element sitting. I would prefer to be sitting. More sitting.
I agree with you.
And also, part of me thinks like the whole thing of like standing desks. I go, okay, I'm happy for you all, but like, don't push this. I need you not push this so hard, because this feels like the people in the workforce are like, people are standing at home. They're at treadmills at home. And I'm like, you can be a treadmill. I know you just moved to pander hers. Like, you can work with a treadmill desk, and that's really fine. And you can also work sitting down. And no one wants to, no, I can't even go this far. I think we should be able to lay at work, but.
Which we do sometimes.
We do.
What I was going to say is I can't even concentrate. If I'm on that bike and I can't do both at the same time. My brain doesn't work like that. I think I might have used that bike 1 week when I bought it.
Oh, okay. And see, I'm the opposite. For me, that's like very helpful with ADHD, like doing two things essentially at once. And so like I can respond to, if I would like, when I used to do the stationary bike, I would get all of my emails done. Like I would write out outlines. I would do so much on a stationary bike, but that's like my fucking option. I get to choose to do that.
Yeah, it's a choice.
Yep.
Give people desks, give people chairs, give people treadmills, give people whatever it is that's going to make them comfortable while they're making money. I remember when I briefly worked at Lady Foot Locker as a child, 16, I guess. Yeah, I had to stand the whole time for hours. Also, when I worked at, this was another job that I worked at, Dillard's, another retail store. I did that in college, but I worked in the men's section, in like, it was supposed to be like the young men's section. No one ever came in that fucking store. and I had to be standing, and not just standing, but always doing something, but nobody was in the section. So what am I doing? There's nothing to do. So what I was make it look like I was doing was cleaning the changing room, but I was just in there sitting down on my phone.
Good. I also just think that, like, for a country that is, like, constantly trying to get out of paying disability and, like, it's like, we need more people in the workforce. Dare I say, let those people fucking sit. And here's the specifically thing I have to find about grocery store workers. Maybe this is just an LA thing, but grocery store workers, it's almost a prerequisite to have, like, the best fucking nails ever. They've got these, like just designed, and I'm always like, look at, and I wonder, I feel like a lot of jobs where, like, you don't have to be, it's not like medical jobs, but things where you use your hands, you're staring at your hands all the time. So you probably are like, I want some fun nails. The way that I know that it takes like 4 to 5 hours to get those nails done. And then also when you do your makeup with long nails like that and all that, I go, by the time you get to work, you've put so much fucking hours into this. Sit down. Pretty people. You're beautiful. You don't need to stand up at work the whole time. You're already working. You're showing up looking gorgeous. Sit the fuck. I don't need you to stand while you scan my yogurt. Who does that help? Who the fuck does that? Or at Target, I'm like, sit down. It literally does nothing. Because also, you need something. You don't walk up and go, you're supposed to call someone. Sit down. Unless you have a BBL, in which don't sit down. Because I did read a Reddit thread about, like, how horrible it is if you sit down and it can explode. Terrified me.
Yeah, and a lot of those people are getting on planes immediately after surgery with their little donuts.
Melissa, I wondered that because I said, I got a donut when I broke my tailbone, but there's no fucking way. Like, that doesn't even help that much with it. There's no way that that's helping.
I've seen TikToks of people on planes just filming women getting on with their donuts.
I just don't even know how do you go to the bathroom? You have to have, like, fucking thighs, like, quads of fucking steel.
If you had quads of steel, you wouldn't be getting them.
I was about to say, well, no. Yeah. Anyways, that's mine.
All right. So thank you for sharing, Megan. You were not wrong. Bring back chairs. And also, you could just, like, why do we have to work? Anyway, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a break, and when we get back, we'll get into But Are You Wrong?
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. We're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/MBO. Terms and conditions apply.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story
But I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like, it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Back, and it is time for our next segment, which is But Are You Wrong?, where we will read your submissions that you send into butamiwrongpod@gmail.com, where you let us know about a circumstance or a situation that you are in and you would like to know if you are in the wrong, and we will tell you. So if you send that, again, butamiwrongpod@gmail.com, keep it under 300 words, and we do ask that you include your age, please. You don't have to, but it is helpful. And it is all anonymous, so use fake names. If you would like to use pseudonyms based on pop culture TV shows, just think it through. You don't have to. Like, please, you really don't. But think it through, because we do infer what it means when you pick those names.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I am 26-year-old female, she, her pronouns, who attended a speed dating event for heterosexual matches ages 26 to 36. I want to put myself out there in a new way since dating apps have been exhausting. I engaged in conversation with Jason, 36-year-old male, he, him pronouns, during one of the rounds. While we initially had a good conversation, I later realized that there were significant differences between us that were deal breakers for me. Specifically, thank God that you're saying this, specifically Jason's age, which I later discovered to be closer to 38, not 36. 36 is already whatever. And our differing religious backgrounds. I am Jewish and wanted to be with a Jewish man. I communicated this respectfully to Jason, expressing that these differences were deal breakers for me and that I prefer to be with someone with a smaller age gap who comes from similar religious, cultural background. Despite my clear communication, Jason persisted in attempting to convince me otherwise. He questioned my stance on our age differences and made inappropriate remarks regarding my participation in the event as a Jewish woman. FYI, 25% of the men I spoke to in the dating rounds were Jewish, and I know there were additional Jewish men in the room. I ultimately felt uncomfortable with the direction of the conversation and chose to block Jason's number and report his behavior to the organizers. I have attached screenshots of the text so you both can see his aggressive persistence. Am I wrong for potentially giving Jason a false sense of hope? I do not believe it's unreasonable to have deal breakers, and trying to convince someone otherwise when they are clearly communicating them is not okay. Thank you both so much. I've been listening to the pod since season 1, episode 1. Thank you for listening. No, you're obviously not wrong. First of all, he lied about his age, so he shouldn't have even been there to begin with.
Melissa, these text messages.
I'm going to get a bit into it, but like, he already wasn't supposed to be there. So him trying to convince you is not okay. And you did the right thing by reporting him because he wasn't supposed to be there to begin with. I will go read them now because Megan's face.
So read the second one first.
Okay.
That's the first one.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
This man said, I've been told I can pass convincingly as Jewish.
He also says, when she says she's looking to date someone Jewish, he goes, oy vey.
He also said, I mean, I'm not going to say his real name, but he's like, as if that's just like a traditional Jewish name.
It's not. There are Jewish people with that name. That is not.
And like I will say there's also a lot of non-Jewish people that have that name.
That is without a doubt not a very like a name that is synonymous with the Jewish community.
I am going to respond to this email.
So for the area that this person is like, they in their text messages, they talk about the area that they're in. And both of us are familiar with this area. And the fact that he then throws up, oh, that a 10-year age gap, weird for that area. Ew, pervy, gross, get away. But then also to specifically say like, well, like if you're only looking for Jewish, this place is not population of Jewish people 0.00001%. There is a large percentage to the fact where you don't necessarily need to exclusively find an organization or a group that is specifically for finding other Jewish partners. It is a vast amount of the population is Jewish. So there is not a market or a need for that as opposed to a place where it is a very, very, very small percentage of the population.
Fuck. But again, he wasn't supposed to be there to begin with.
No. And he's like, well, you're not supposed to be here because you only want to date a Jewish guy and I'm not Jewish. Okay.
You're 38 years
You're
old.
You're 38. You're not supposed to be here. For the record, I don't think that you gave him a false sense of hope at fucking all. Speed dating and giving someone your number, like that is not a commitment to anything. And like having a good initial conversation, like one good conversation, unfortunately doesn't guarantee a second good conversation. Otherwise, he would have actually been a good conversationalist and not been fucking weird the second time.
Also, because he sent the message and then you said, I've had a couple days. He sent a message asking if you wanted to go to drinks. And you then said, I've had a couple days to reflect on this, which is telling me that you weren't feeling him anyways. And so you needed to sit on it. So yeah, go back again. And also tell them, are they not checking IDs at this place?
This man is so fucking weird. And like, there's not even a defense here, which again, it's not a defense, but it could have been an excuse on his end. Based on this location, this man knows Jewish people. This is not his whole thing of being like, no, I could pass as Jewish and oy vey. Like your knowledge of being the proximity towards this ethno-religion, the culture, is the reason why you're making that comment and you feel confident saying that comment, which is so fucking out of pocket. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he can feign that he doesn't know better. Cause I'm like, no, this is a very unique sense of how can I be so fucking weird about this?
Yeah.
How can I be like, my proximity is enough?
That's like, I've slept with several Jewish men and that's like me saying, I had a little Jewish in me. What?
Like, it's fucking crazy. Like, you can be a fan of a religious group you're not a part of. You can be like,
a fan?
No, but I mean, not like a fan. Like, you can be like favorable towards like, oh, I have like fond memory. Like, the only people I grew up with were Jewish. Like, so I have like part of my family is Jewish. Like, I am not Jewish. I have a lot of like spending time in cultural practices, not religious, not practicing, not Jewish myself. I can have a lot of appreciation for what it had done for me in the community and the groups of people. But good God, that
it's like saying I can pass for like, that doesn't even make sense because
it's an ethno-religion. So you're taking the ethno part, not the religion part or the culture part. Like,
but just physical look part is all that he's talking about. It's like, you're not even taking to heart what this even means. Get the fuck out of here.
So fun. And you also know that this man's definitely like, if they were like, oh, I am interested in like an interfaith relationship, but it would be important for me for my partner to convert and be like, whoa, there you go. But I thought you could pass.
Right.
Whatever the fuck that means.
Now you don't have to pass for the, religious part. You could just become.
Listen to my name. Rabbi's like, and what? Like, that's sure. There are people with that name, but that's not. God. Yeah, you're so not fucking wrong.
No.
Okay. Hey, Meghan and Melissa. I, 24, she, her, work as a full-time teacher while getting my master's. Last semester, I took a class with this girl, Katrina, probably around 21, she, her. One class, we worked in groups to explain a mathematical concept and presented it to the class. Other groups gave positive feedback and ways for us to improve. When it was Katrina's group after the positives, I said, I think I heard someone say borrowed, and the more precise mathematical language is regroup, knowing Katrina said it and it's something that the professor taught us. My group had the most complicated task. My professor had us present differently, and I volunteered to do it. I was already frazzled because the presentation was different than I planned. In the middle of explaining, Katrina called out and interrupted, wait, 12? Where's that number from? I repeated and pointed because 3 times 4 is 12 in a short tone. When the class was ready to give positive feedback, Katrina quickly said that the way I answered her question was rude and it made her feel dumb. If I answered a question like that to a kid, they would have had a horrible reaction and shut down and feel so awful. In front of the whole class, I said, I'm sorry, it wasn't my intention, and I recognize I could have responded differently. She rolled her eyes and then didn't speak to me for the whole semester. Also, after the class, I asked another classmate and the professor if I was rude, and they both said no. Today, I saw her sitting in the front office waiting for an interview for an intern position at my school. Am I wrong for telling a teacher on the committee that she made that class super weird and uncomfortable? Ooh, no. You lost me at the last part. I kind of feel like, I think that, I don't even know how you say that though. Like, oh, she was kind of weird.
That's part of, I don't know, wouldn't necessarily say weird. There's a formal way to say that in work speak, but that's why you have committees. That's the point, for you to give your input.
Oh, she's telling a teacher on the committee. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. I was like, who are you going to tell? Like, by the way, this girl's kind of weird.
You don't say weird. I would just explain. I wouldn't specifically even call her anything. I would just explain situations that happened when you were in school. We were in the same class. These were the experiences that I had with her. And just leave it at that. They can infer whatever they want from that.
Yeah. Oh, I guess it was last semester. Sorry. For some reason, I thought it was like a while ago. And I was like, I mean, I kind of I think that teachers have to learn how to be teachers, and learning is a part of it. And sometimes people are kind of clunky with it, or can say something or do something that's kind of embarrassing or an overreaction or whatever. And so I don't think you did anything wrong initially whatsoever. And I say that as someone who cannot do math in my head, including multiplying to 12, unless it's 12 times 1. I know that one. So that if a teacher said that to me, that's fine. That is, I've had teachers say legitimately mean shit or make me feel like an idiot. But if it was last semester, that's a lot weirder. For some reason, I thought this was years ago, and I was like, she's probably new learning. And if I was her, I would be embarrassed about my reaction now. But she literally gave you the silent treatment for the entire time, and that was a couple months ago. That's a lot.
Yeah, seems like she has the maturity of a child.
Yeah, unless you're being asked to task the role as now role play as young students learning math. And it's about an empathy exercise about how to respond. But that's not what that was. No. So, yeah, I don't think it's weird. I don't think it's wrong to say that. I just say
there's a professional way to do this.
Well, especially because if she gave you the cold shoulder and ignored you the whole time, and you would be having to work with her, and it would make that difficult, not on your end, but on her end. She would not be cooperative.
All right. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into But Are They Wrong?
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you love Disney? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Meghan, the magical millennial.
And I'm the dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. There is nothing we don't cover.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed, but you definitely need in your life. So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.
Merry Christmas, everybody! My name is Eric Peterson. I'm here with my good buddy,
Danny Jordan.
And we are the hosts of Christmas Countdown Show.
We're so thrilled to be bringing the merriment to you all this holiday season. On Christmas Countdown, we love to count down our top 10 favorite things related to the holiday season. That could be food, movies, music, everything that we all love about this massively merry good time. So wherever you get your podcasts, make sure you click that subscribe button. Eric, are you ready?
I am ready, and we hope that you are too. Merry Christmas, everybody! Let's go!
You're back. It's time for But Are They Wrong? And this is where we nominate a person, place, or thing, someone in the current events, pop culture, zeitgeist, who we think needs some public shaming. And you are up first.
So I have nominated Donald Ray Lantz and Jeanne K. Whitefeather. They're a couple from West Virginia accused of locking up their adopted Black children in a shed behind their house and forced them to work, aka slavery. They have 5 adopted children and they live on a farm, and they force these children to work. They were initially arrested in October 2023, but now they're facing new charges because they live kind of close to the Canadian border, and they're now believe that they've been trafficking minors, use a minor for forced labor, and child neglect, creating substantial risk of serious bodily injury or death. The couple pleaded not guilty on Tuesday, June 25th. This all came to light when a neighbor called Child Protective Services, alleging that 2 teenagers were being locked up in a shed at the couple's home. So then a wellness check was performed, and based on the call from the neighbor, and the police found 2 of the children, aged 14 and 16, locked in a dilapidated shed wearing ragged clothes. One of the children did not have on shoes, and they both had open sores on their feet. The children also said they hadn't ate in 12 hours, and they hadn't bathed, and they smelled body odor. Other neighbors also claimed that the children were forced to perform farm labor and were not permitted inside the residence. There was a portable toilet out there and no running water. Deputies said they also found a 9-year-old girl and an 11-year-old boy. The investigation also led to authorities to a 6-year-old girl who had been with people with the couple that they knew from church. They alleged that the couple also violated their 5 adopted children's human rights by forcing them to work. Also, they're a couple, but one of their brothers have posted their bail, and they were out on bail, but now they're back in jail with these new charges. Bunch of fucking sickos.
And a determination to continuously, like, relentless, nonstop, not letting anything get in the, like, slow them down. That's like diabolically disgusting.
Yes.
Wow. Fuck them. My nomination is something that we have talked about offline, and I was wondering if I was ever going to be able to talk about, not that I have like permission, whatever, to talk about it, but we are going to be, well, I'm nominating Cody Ko. And this is something, again, I want to talk about for a while, but the quick backstory is that on Tana's live podcast canceled on one of their live shows, they have a whole thing of like, don't bring phones, don't film it, don't do it, whatever we say there. Like, they talk a lot about stories, and it's the only time really that they'll include names. And so it's kind of like an understanding that like what happens here stays here. You don't report it. You don't say anything about it. And people, I guess, on their Reddit threads and all that stuff have gone and they've heard different stories, and people don't really divulge it. They don't show videos. They don't talk about what happens, except someone filmed this part. And the reason why we're talking about it now is she then started talking about it on her podcast publicly. I didn't want to, obviously she said that knowing it could possibly get out there, but I just, as someone who also has a platform, and like, I know her, I'm like, I don't want to talk about it unless she publicly talks about it, not in that context. And she did. So now we will. She had talked about the question that was posed was, who is the smallest dick you've ever slept with? And she said Cody Ko when she was 17 years old and he was 25 years old. It's not the first time that she has mentioned this. She mentioned it in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. No, 2021, in a podcast that was not recorded on video, so it didn't blow up. I didn't know about it at that time. And her friend was like, wait, you slept with him like when you were 17? And she was like, they're like, not 18. And she's like, maybe. So she kind of like, she said 17. People were like, shit, do you really want to say this? Do you want to kind of take it back? And she was like, but it was very clear that it was 17. I went back and listened to the clip. And that was in December 9th, 2021. She reveals on her podcast that he reached out and texted her after that and asked if they were good, basically. And I don't know if he said anything after that, but the whole thing was like, hey, I'm getting married. Like, can you please pipe the fuck down? Like, basically that. And then he proposed to Kelsey, his now wife, on December 19th, 10 days after that podcast was released. And the timing of that, not saying that it wasn't planned, that like he wasn't planning to get engaged, but it does feel like yeah, please stop talking about this because I'm going to get married. So this is disgusting, egregious. If we wanted to get into technicalities, which I don't think we need to, people want to say, I've seen people defend him and be like, she's whatever. What was it? What state did it happen in? Florida or California? Both of those, 18 is the age of consent. And she also mentioned in her video that Gabby Hanna pulled him aside because I think it was at like a playlist or I think it was a playlist. He was like dancing, like flirting with her, whatever. And Gabby pulled him aside and said, she's underage. Gabby Hanna, which I have to say, this is, boy, oh boy, do I wish that she held the same
I was going to say, we know your history with Gabby.
And I'm like, oh, Gabby, it's so nice to actually see you care about protecting a woman from a predatory man at some point in your life, because I actually truly think you're incapable of doing that. So, you know, because I will not lie. I fucking hate that girl. I hate her so bad.
It's on record.
It's documented. I fucking hate her. But so like Tana mentioned, basically being like, he knew how old she was. They had collabed together. Seeing people's response to this, basically being like, well, it's Tana. She's a girl from Vegas. She grew up so fat. Like she's talking about fucking and sucking and all of that. And to that, I say, all the more reason that you do not fucking hook up with this underage girl. Because you're saying, what do you mean? This girl has all of these family issues and she's got all of this trauma. So what you're telling me is I shouldn't have sex with her? What the fuck do you mean? Like, if you want to say a defense of being like, oh, they're just like very mature for their age. Like they've really got a good head on their shoulders. No, your defense is that she doesn't have a good head on her shoulders. And therefore it's fine to have sex with a underage girl because clearly she's super out there and she's got a rough life. What the fuck? I think it's disgusting. I think it's nasty. Tana has obviously done problematic things. And I really fucking hate people being like, well, I don't like Tana, but even this is bad. No, this is just fucking bad. Point fucking blank. It does not matter who it happened to. But I think all the more reason for people using a defense that she has a rough childhood for why it's okay that Cody Ko committed statutory rape. I think it's fucking insane. And then along with that, which has been dug up, is that one of his BFFs, his frat brother, who he was also in his wedding party, is a man named Colby Leachman, who is a rapist from Duke, who raped a girl at Duke and filmed it and got away with it, but literally did all of this, has a family member who works at Duke, so it didn't blow up his life. Cody was a groomsman in his wedding, and he and his wife are still friends with him and his partner. Ooh. And then we go to the Cody Ko subreddit, which this shit has been wiped everywhere. Like no one can talk about it because God forbid someone give a little bit of shit prior to this, even any sort of criticism or whatever, to the 5'7" man with the tiny dick. No, cannot do that. And people have now since discovered that not only is like any word like Tana, like rapist, all of these things being completely censored from his YouTube channel, all of his platforms, everything. His subreddit, which he says he is not affiliated with, you look at one of the mods, you keep scrolling through, it is one of his friends who attended Duke with him, who has said over and over again, no, I'm not that guy. This man is on other subreddits talking about being a former student at Duke. His name is Devin Townsend, who is the also founder of Cameo, that fucking app. And he posts on Rate Me, the subreddit, being like, rate me. What do you think? Like, am I attractive or whatever? And has done it for the past couple of years. And I will throw in and say, allegedly, this is the same man, because he's saying, no, I'm actually not that guy, which I think maybe he should do a deeper dive into it, because apparently there is a man with his exact same face running around, leading the same life, who also went to Duke, who is also friendly. My guy. It literally is his face. And he is a front-facing, he's in Cody's videos. He's he's a public person. And he goes, that's actually not me. Even though he has his own photos linked on his fucking Reddit account.
Wow.
Yep. So it's just nasty. Like it's nasty. And I really hope that the podcasts who are under his network are able to get out, or he's able to get bounce. But it is remarkable how this feels so unaffecting to his life. He's like still posting on his Instagram stories. He's still posting videos. It has been really lovely to see his views tank like a whole other fucking level. And I've been like keeping tabs to like see what the views are like. And he always will pull out his wife whenever his views are down or whatever, to kind of like, it always like doubles in views. Not even working for this. And I mean, she's friends with that guy, the rapist wife, like girlfriend or wife or whatever. And it looks like she has a lot of the same words that he has censored on his channel, censored on hers. So I hope she is not. But I would be kind of surprised considering the fact that this Tana stuff initially came out before they were engaged, like right before they were engaged. I didn't hear about it, but I would assume people messaged her. Like she would, I wouldn't buy it if she feigned that she had no idea this whole time, or the things about his frat bro who they're friends with. But I wish for nothing but his downfall. But to see people who like are like, oh my God, no, they will defend this mediocre man till the day they die is crazy to me. And I am seriously hoping for Brooke and Connor to be able to have a different podcast network they can do. I think they've got a great podcast and they do like wonderful, great stuff. And finally, I think if you were subscribed to his podcast, Hang Meeking, if you were doing any of their tiers on Patreon, you were supporting them. Might I suggest supporting a podcast with two women who are not him? Also, his like co-host has like made stuff like defending Andrew Tate and then being like, well, you guys are overreacting. I wasn't defending. I was just like saying like, well, what if maybe like stop giving men money?
Yeah.
Just like stop, especially men in creative spaces like this. Like the way they make hand over fucking foot, like the more money than any fucking woman in these fucking spaces, and their audiences are the same vast majority women. Women, stop being so fucking comfortable giving money to your favorite male content creator and be more comfortable giving money to your favorite like female content creators. I don't know why. Like it's just like this. It's a weird thing that happens.
Agree with you.
Nasty. A nasty, nasty little man. Also, imagine actually naming your like side project or your like company Tiny Meeking when you have a small penis. That's like Melissa, that's
together.
That's like actually crazy. And I'm like, does Noel also have a small penis? Like, do you guys know that? Or did like he make the suggestion and you go, ha, yeah, totally, let's do that. It's like so funny because it's like ironic. And you're there with your like petite peen, your itty bitty ween.
Yeah. And there's really not much else to say to that.
Nasty.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. This has been a great episode. Please tune in on Monday. Usually we have an episode called Fisting Friday. That's tomorrow. But since there was no new episode last week, there's not a new episode of that. But tune in on Monday for Don't Blame Me. That's where we give advice. Tuesday for See You Next Tuesday. We're talking about all sorts of stuff. Wednesday, there's nothing. Thursday, you're back here for this. Friday, there will be a new episode. So be there or be square. Also, join our Patreon. Follow us on all the social medias. Also, join our Facebook group. And that's it.
We will circle back.
Goodbye.
But Am I Wrong is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMont, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
And production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Lauro, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth.
Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone, so we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural Then and Now.
Hey, are you ready for some real talk and some fantastic laughs? Join me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa DeMonts, for Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong?
We're serving up 4 hilarious shows every week designed to entertain and engage and, possibly enrage you.
In Don't Blame Me, we dive deep into listeners' questions, offering advice that's funny, relatable, and real.
Whether you're dealing with relationship drama or you just need a friend's perspective, we've got you.
Then switch gears with But Am I Wrong, which is for listeners who didn't take our advice and want to know if they are the villains in the situation.
Plus, we share our hot takes on current events and present situations that we might even be wrong in our lives. Spoiler alert, we are actually quite literally never wrong.
But wait, there's more. Check out See You Next Tuesday, where we reveal the juicy results from our listener polls from But Am I Wrong?
And don't miss Fisting Friday, where we catch up, chat about pop culture, TV, and movies. It's the perfect way to kick off your weekend.
So if you're looking for a podcast that feels like a chat with your besties, listen to Don't Blame Me, But Am I Wrong on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday.